What's up guys, it's Nicholas, and today we are going to be taking a look at a keyboard that has actually replaced the K70 as my daily driver. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Logitech G413 Carbon. So why is it such a big deal that this has replaced my K70 as my daily driver? Well, anyone who's used the K70 or any of Corsair's keyboards for that matter know they're super high quality. And so for a keyboard that comes in at only $90 to replace that, must be something special. Or I'm just crazy, one of the two. Probably the second. But I always love trying new peripherals to see if I can find something that pushes my daily driver out of my life and replaces it. Because I love trying new things. Except for mice. Because the Logitech G502 will be with me until the day I die. To start off, I do want to mention that this does come in two different variations. This one is called the Carbon, the other one is called the Silver. This one is black brushed aluminum, or gray brushed aluminum, with red backlighting on the keys. The Silver actually is like a whitish, well, it's silver. Wow, it's amazing, right? I know, naming schemes. With white backlighting, which I thought actually looked really, really sleek, but obviously didn't really match my, my aesthetic for my build. That's right. I went from a fully RGB keyboard that I could customize to match my setup exactly to something that only breathes red LEDs. So it must be something special, right? I honestly thought the lack of color customization would really, really ruin this keyboard for me. But the thing is, it didn't. Once I started using it, that became less and less of a problem, and the performance spoke for itself as, you don't need color customization, you need a good keyboard. Just to be clear, you can turn off the LEDs, but I've kind of just left them on at this point. It doesn't really bother me. And honestly, in the future, I would be surprised if we didn't see an RGB version of the G413. Please, Logitech. Please. So size-wise, this keyboard is actually a pretty big downsize for my K70, which is weird because they're both a 10-key keyboard, so you'd think they'd be about the same size, but putting this on my desk, I don't know if it's just the super small chin bar or what, but it just seems like it takes up so much less space. And for me, that's great because usually I have tons and tons of stuff all over my desk. And it gave me more mouse room. It gave me more room to put my hands. Obviously, this doesn't come with a built-in wrist rest, but you could always buy one separate if you wanted to, if that was a huge deal breaker for you. So style-wise, this is a very minimalistic looking keyboard. I love the matte black with just the brushed aluminum look. The only branding on this is actually the Logitech G up here in the corner and then G413 on the side of the keyboard. I love it when companies do not put their logo all over the thing or their name or anything like that. So gold star for Logitech. So somewhere that the G413 does come up short for me is it actually doesn't use Cherry MX switches. They are the Roamer G switches, which are equivalent to the Cherry MX Reds that I had on the K70. Why is this a problem? Well, the problem is that these don't have a typical stem, so you can't actually replace the keys. And it was, as far as I could see in any of my research, I couldn't actually find replacement keys that would fit this keyboard. For me, that's kind of a big deal because it's another way to customize your keyboard. And if keys break, which hopefully they won't on this one because they did on the K70, you won't be able to replace them without either A, contacting Logitech, or B, finding some online. But again, at least I couldn't find any online. So coming from those Cherry MX Reds on the K70, these actually feel really, really good. These actually have a 1.5 millimeter actuation versus the 2 millimeter actuation of the Cherry MX Reds. So they're a little bit quicker to respond. They are both 45 grams of actuation force though, so that's the same on both of them. But these will give you a little bit of an edge, and I mean the slightest edge in games that rely on reflexes because these obviously will react first. Surprisingly, typing on the Roamer Gs it was kind of weird at first. They feel like Reds when gaming, but they don't feel like Reds when typing. But I have to say, I think my speed of typing has actually increased since I've gotten used to the layout of this keyboard, given that there were some mistakes when I first started using it. We won't go into that though. Back on the topic of keycaps though, for just one sec. Logitech does include a set of gaming keycaps that are shaped more like the ones that were on the original Orion, that are kind of divoted, and it also comes with the keycap puller. I'm really glad they included these in a set separate from what actually comes on the keyboard, because a lot of people, myself included, didn't really like the keys on the Orion. It was kind of weird, because if you're a hardcore gamer, yeah, they worked great. But the problem was, for people like me who, I do gaming, but I also do like productivity and stuff, I want normal feeling keycaps. That's all I want. So, another gold star for Logitech for not forcing them down our throats this time. So the switches and the included keycaps and the look are great and everything, but what else do you get for $90 on the G413? Well, like I said earlier, the keyboard does feature red LED backlighting. The LED backlighting is all controlled with the function key controls up here at the top on the F keys. This is really great because you don't have to go into software to change anything. There's 4 levels of brightness, not including off, and obviously the off is what a lot of people are probably going to use for this unless you have a black and red setup. But honestly, I do like the breathing effect. It is kind of different, and if I ran a black and red setup, I probably would leave it on, but most of the time I turn it off unless I'm typing in the dark, then yeah. The other thing that I love on keyboards is that when they have the actual function keys double as media keys, volume keys, all that good stuff. But one thing that Logitech actually threw in that I hadn't seen on a keyboard, at least one that I've personally used, is actually there's a button to turn the F keys into macro keys. That's awesome, because unless you need a full keyboard worth of macros, yes, Taryn from LMG, I'm looking at you, this should be enough to really sate anyone's thirst for macro keys. The reason this excites me so much is the K95 from Corsair, that is their only keyboard that has macro keys on it. And that is their flagship keyboard. And this comes in at like half the price. That's awesome, because if you need macro keys but you don't need a tacky add-on on the side, this will work perfect for you. The bottom of the keyboard does have cable traces that, honestly, with their placement, I don't know what you could use them for, because they seem kind of be in a weird place for, say, a mouse cable or anything like that, but maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Good possibility. It does have the 2 standard feet on the bottom to help you prop up the keyboard to a more comfortable typing position. The bottom of the keyboard is this rubber material to make it so that it is not going to just slide around on your desk when you're trying to use it. Another gold star for Logitech. The cable is sadly non-removable, which means if the cable gets destroyed, and I've had this happen personally, the peripheral is junk. So yeah, not a gold star for Logitech. At least it does seem to be a pretty durable cable. It is wrapped, so that's good. It does lead to 2 separate USB connectors. One for the USB pass-through, which I am so happy for, and the second one for just the keyboard, obviously. I mean, what else do you want? And now for the moment of honesty. When I bought this keyboard, I bought it with the full intent to review it and then sell it. Because, again, I didn't think a $90 keyboard could replace my beloved K70. Here we are, many months later, with me still using this keyboard. As someone who is insanely obsessed with all of my build matching, for me to say that this keyboard was worth not having a matching keyboard, at least if I have the lights on, that should mean quite a lot. I love this keyboard. I love the look. I love the style. I love the performance of it. It just feels like a premium keyboard, and I don't have to feel guilty. It's a $90 keyboard. Yes, $90 isn't exactly dirt cheap, but for something that is mechanical, that is awesome build quality, I feel like I could beat someone to death with this thing. And like I said, $90. That's awesome. But like I said earlier, my one complaint is I would really like to see an RGB version of this come out in the future, because I would be all over that thing. So Logitech, get on it. So what do you guys think of the Logitech G413? Did it replace your daily driver just like it did mine? Let me know down in the comments. So leave the video a like if you liked it, leave a dislike if you disliked it, leave a comment down below telling me why you liked or why you disliked it. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon down in the description. If you enjoy the content that we make, click that link down there to Patreon, become a patron. Every dollar goes towards reviews, gear for the channel, stuff of that nature. So I want to keep making awesome content you guys enjoy. That doesn't come cheap. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.